All right, guys, let's talk about Kenya, Miss Team Twirl. It's not looking so good for Kenya. We'll talk about Bravo, as a whole, what's going on over there with the network. What does Tom Sandoval have to do with a conversation about a real housewife from Atlanta? We're going to break it down, get into it. Kenya did do a live, and I'm glad I didn't do a Kenya update right after because there wouldn't have been much to talk about. So I'm glad after a few days we can have a Kenya update. So we will get into all that. Definitely subscribe, like this video, turn on notifications, all the good YouTube stuff, and let's discuss. All right. So what was it? On Friday, once we heard about her indefinite suspension, dun 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 dun, very ominous. Kenya posted how she was going to do a live in the evening and for, us to join her. And when I did my last Kenya video, I was like, I hope it's not clickbaity. Well, it was very clickbaity. She didn't really give us much material regarding her on the show. All she really talked about was promo for her new salon. She talked about how I guess people are doing like fake booking appointments. So now she's going to start taking deposits. People are leaving bad reviews. How this, can you more hair care? Can you more salon? This is how she, pays for her house, for her child. This is the one time where, I don't mind a mother being like, my child, this business, this brand pays for my house. Cough, cough, Sheena and Lala. Anyways, so it was really just promo for her new hair care salon. She had some filter on, so when she did the tour of her hair salon, it was like a bit hard to see, but it's very pretty. So I don't know, it seems like a very luxurious salon if you're in the Atlanta area. Um, Definitely go check it out. Um, so it was a lot of that. She was waiting to get like 100,000 live viewers, which Miss Girl, you're not getting 100K viewers. So I think she got about like 11K or 12K. And then around then, she didn't say much. Like, all she really said is, like, "This isn't the last you're gonna see me. I'm not going anywhere." And that was that. As you guys can see here on this image, there was love from Drew Dora. She was on the live. Who else? Portia was also showing some love to Kenya on the live, so they were there. It's come to our attention that Kenya is not supposed to talk to the Real Housewives of Atlanta, whatever girls are filming this season, and then the girls aren't supposed to talk to Kenya either. So it was interesting seeing some of the girls we know, Portia and Drew, showing support and love on Kenya's live. Since then, there's been some other audio and video and image of the screen where Kenya shared a not so great image of Britney Edy. I don't feel comfortable sharing those images, guys. So I've seen some other bloggers, some content creators, commentators post those images. And I just feel like the images that Kenya did show, did not show. It's currently under investigation and it's still up in the air. I don't know if it was exact images of Brittany Eady doing whatever she was doing, or one of the images that I saw is it seemed like a regular picture of Brittany Eady and then something was like photoshopped in front of her, if you know what I mean. So I don't know if that's what Kenya posted. So technically Kenya didn't post revenge dot dot dot. However, when it comes to Kenya's event, what I have seen and heard Kenya calling this girl out, saying how she charges 1,400 bucks, I don't know, via Snap or whatever for certain images or video request, how she's some sort of like an insurance fraud. There's audio for sure of Kenya just saying the most vile things about new cast member Britney Edy. So I don't know why on earth Kenya thought going that low would be okay, especially the climate we're in. And regardless, like regardless of, Bravo giving Kenya a pass or, her thinking she can get away with it. I just want to know what the heck did Brittany Eady do to Kenya for Kenya to unleash her sword, her slick tongue on Brittany Eady in this manner? The way she is lashing out against Britney Edy, it is not for Bravo. It is maybe for a different network. It is incredibly low down, low-brow behavior coming out of Kenya, and I think us, the fans who are team Twirl, we're just, like, in shock and disappointed in Miss Kenya, like, "Girl, what are you doing?" Like, all I could think of was, the scene from, America's Next Top Model, Tyra Banks, when she's like, "I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?" Like, that's how I feel about Kenya. It's like, "Kenya, girl, we have you on the show. We have Portia back on the show." Not technically OGs, but, the oldest, I don't know, cast members on Atlanta, and I don't mean by age, by seasons. And then Shamia, Portia's good friend, and then some new girls. Oh, Andrew Sidora. I don't know what's gonna happen to this show, but it's definitely not looking good. And then we have Bravo and cocktails. Now, let's get into Bravo, NBC, the climate we're in. We'll also discuss how Tom Sandoval fits into all of this. We will get to that. So, Bravo and cocktails, subject. So long in Atlanta. Spill it to Bravo and cocktails. Okay. Kenya is done. NBC has zero tolerance for this at this current point in time and doesn't want legal repercussions from Brit. Yeah, times have changed, guys. It's not like the I don't even wanna say good old days, but it's not like before where you can be so low down, so dirty, you get a pass, producers love it, fans egg you on. No, we have come far since those days of reality TV. Um, People don't wanna see that sort of lowbrow stuff, at least not on Bravo. And what Kenya did, she's basically outing Britney's business, maybe I guess how she makes money, I don't know, one of the ways she makes money, I have no idea who this Britney girl is, but this Britney girl, she might be known to some people, but the masses via, Real Housewives of Atlanta being on the Bravo network, um, she will now be known to a larger audience, and this is our, um, initial, I don't know, initial meeting of Brittany Eady. It's like, "Oh, pretty girl," and then she does something on Snap for 1,400 bucks. Like, that's, like, my intro to Brittany Eady now, thanks to Kenya for going so low. And in the climate that we're in, NBC, Bravo, they shut it down. They're like, "Okay, we're gonna do an investigation. Let's figure it out." Kenya suspended indefinitely. Indefinitely is just kind of ominous. There's no date. Is she getting the Dorinda pause? Are they gonna scrap the show? Are they going to continue? I mean, they've only been filming for like a couple weeks. Technically, they could do what they did in Real Housewives of New York, the reboot, when they had casted that one girl who was so problematic, where they edited her out. So are they gonna edit out Kenya and then like I don't know, from episode 1 of the new season, we're just gonna get whatever stuff Kenya wasn't in, and then, start from there, and then, like, the editing's gonna be weird. That's an option, or they just, like, scrap it. Somewhere, Candy is laughing, and she's so glad that she didn't sign on to this mess of a season, so that's that. Now, speaking of, Bravo, y'all remember Miss Ramona, the singer Stinger. She was asked from, BravoCon, because at that time she made some sort of a racist remark, and then obviously with Roni, the whole situation with Ramona behind the scenes and on screen with Ebony, her behavior, they just, like, were like, "Forget it. We're not gonna release this season of Roni." Like, Bravo had had enough, and that was during the pandemic. We were all at home watching TV. Fans were getting even more into these Real Housewives shows and critiquing it on a whole other level. And they, here's the thing, they did bring Ramona back for Real Housewives of Ultimate Girls trip. So it's like they cut her out, but then they brought her back because she was good TV. And then Ramona said some other stuff again, and then Bravo cut ties with Ramona again, and then Ramona, she even got fired from the real estate brokerage she was part of. Like, this girl, she just cannot help herself, but, we're in a different climate now, so, it is what it is. Now, Tom Sandoval. So, Kenya has been seen interacting with tweets like this one. So this tweet said, "But Tom Sandoval can screen record Raquel Rachel touching herself without her consent and end up on Traitors." It's like this guy is clearly in the wrong and then he gets rewarded. It's unfortunate. However, it's not the same, guys. Like, I know we're talking about Tom, like, what the heck? This guy keeps getting rewarded. And then, Kenya, Bravo always, makes an example out of her. Like, when she got married to Mark off season, I believe it was, like, it wasn't filmed. She then didn't return the next season, or it was something to that extent. It was obviously a while ago. Kenya seems to get punished, and it's always, the person of color. It's always the woman that, gets, punished. And guys, this isn't just Bravo. This is like corporate. This is unfortunately the patriarchy we're in. The man, he gets like I don't know, like a slap on the hand and then he goes about his merry way. But a woman does something, especially a woman of color, it's like, "Oh my God." Now, to be fair, what Kenya did is pretty horrendous. What Tom did was for his own personal enjoyment. He was not doing it with the intent of sharing it publicly, whatever recordings he has between him and Rachel Raquel. Whereas Kenya's intent was, let me take this information, which, okay, it might already exist in the public about Brittany, but she amplified it by being on, showcasing it on an event that's being filmed for Real Housewives of Atlanta, which will then be on Bravo, which is a network that gets, hundreds of thousands of viewers, millions of viewers over time for these shows. Um, and its intent here, and how she did it, and the recordings, and the people, sharing the recordings, the video, the still footage, the audio. The intent here is vastly different. So I understand Kenya probably feels a certain way, and we're looking at the two, like, how is it that this man who is so gross and he keeps getting rewarded, and then Kenya, she doesn't just get a slap on the hand, she deals with real, ramifications from the network. It is frustrating. They are different, but at the same time, it's frustrating, like, what the heck? And we see it in corporate too, like, when a company is not doing so well, they'll put in a female CEO and then blame her. It's always the woman who gets the short end of the stick, or a woman of color who, has to be perfect. One small mistake, and then she has to, pay for it, and it sucks, but that's the system we're in. That's what it is, living under the patriarchy. Also, you guys feel free to chime into the comments, what you think about Kenya, Tom, Bravo as a network, where the climate is, all that stuff. Now, Danielle Staub from Real Housewives of New Jersey, She was also seen, chiming in, regarding this whole fiasco, and, she was caught responding to a tweet. Yes, what they all said was disgusting, they regurgitated things I had already gone through for the sole purpose of humiliation using something that was made in private well before fame. It was taken and released without my consent. This is revenge. Dot, and it's illegal. She's talking about how her time on New Jersey, I believe it was Joe Gorga, basically one of the men, showcasing some things she had filmed prior to her time on The Real Housewives of New Jersey, and how they aired out her, I don't know, dirty laundry, I don't know how else to say it, and, they got a pass. Joe Gorga, he's still on the show, the men, the women, whatever, that, ridiculed Danielle Staub, they're still on the show. Meanwhile, she had to deal with that humiliation, and, like, there were no ramifications at that time. Now, the unfortunate thing is at that time, you just did whatever, it was, like, funny or it was fodder, and then, like, people got over it and, like, moved on, but we are in a different time, so unfortunately, Kenya is now gonna have to pay the price. Like, it is what it is. You wanted to be so nasty and talk about this new, I don't know, housewife, Britney Edy, in the way that you did. Yeah, the network, the audience, we're gonna look at you like, "Kenya girl, what are you doing?" All right, let's end off with Nene. Nene, she had a vision in 2020 when she was doing this interview. According to Nene at that time, she said, Kenya Moore will be the demise of Real Housewives of Atlanta. This was an interview from 2020, I believe. And obviously, when we had Nene on the show, yes, she would get into tiffs with the other girls, but not Kenya. Nene's whole thing was there were real friendships, and, the way Nene did it, it was always, like, funny, and you always saw, like, you know what, maybe they can, like, come back together. Nene in this interview from, like, 4 years ago basically was like how Kenya is very nasty and, like, low down, and because of that, she will be the demise of Real Housewives of Atlanta, and if they scrap this season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, we got Nene the prophet, the professor. I don't really know what the terminology is, but Nene's vision coming true, and that would be very sad. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below about this whole Kenya situation. It's not looking good for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Definitely subscribe. I'm following this along as I think we all are. Hopefully we get some good news, but I really don't know what good news there could be. I'm sure Bravo doesn't want Brittany coming after them, but then letting go of Kenya, that's not a good look either. It's just a no-win situation. I will talk to you all later. Take care.